Astrology Day. Okay, so I will be reading from this book, The Complete Book of Astrology, Llewellyn's Edition by Chris Brandt Risk. So you might need paper, pen if you have that with you. If you don't, I'll give you guys a minute to go get it. But we're going to start learning astrology. And apparently I've been guided to teach astrology through, I have to learn it while I'm teaching y'all. So we're going to learn it while we teach. Alright, so we're just going to read a couple from the basics of astrology. You probably read your horoscope online, in newspapers or magazines, or in publications that focus your head. These forecasts are based on your sun sign, which is easily determined by your birthing. You guys know I'm fucking dyslexic as fuck. I'm just saying, I'm dyslexic as fuck. So if I say a word that's not right, don't come at me crazy. Alright. So what was that? The forecasts are based on your sun sign, which is determined by your birth month and day. You might even know the characteristics associated with your sun sign, and those families and friends' sun sign descriptions are amazingly accurate. Even though there's no rational explanation why astrology should work, after all, the sun, moon, and planets are millions of miles away from the Earth. How can a body in outer space realistically affect a person on Earth? A sun sign is just a sun sign. It's important, yes, but it's the essence of you. It's your ego at work. But from astrological viewpoint, there's so much more that defines you, your character, talents, and strengths and challenges. So, around the Okay, so hold on. The ancient Babylonians were perplexed by the astrology phenomenon as we are today in the 4,000 or so years since they invented astrology. No one has discovered an explanation for why it works, but it works. Around the 16th century BC, the Babylonians began to observe the events of Earth could be correlated to celestial phenomenon. Their brand in astrology is what we call today the mundane astrology, or the astrology of countries, wars, coups, economic conditions, and weather. To name a few, it has eventually evolved into what is known as the electional astrology, the branch in which planetary positions are used to select a favorable time to launch an event such as a wedding, business opening, meeting, or job application. Babylon, I can't even say the Babylonian astrologies use the 360 circle, a zodiac of 12 signs similar to what we use today. Also developed Ephemeris table of astrological data. All right, so if you know, you look at the astrological sign. Okay, you guys, let me get out some paper. It's a 360 degree. Each zodiac is going to be 30 degrees. So in reality, they base this off the 365-year calendar. So in reality, if the sun goes through each zodiac for 30 degrees, which is what a year should be 360 instead of 365. Now I've been looking into, like, I'm confused why they put the extra in there. Like, I don't know why they put the extra in there, but the sun actually goes through all the zodiacs within 360 days. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Look into it. Alright, planetary positions and eclipses. At that point in the time, no connection has been made between astrology and the individual. It was until more than 1,000 years ago later, sometimes between the 7th and 4th century, that Babylonians developed the concept of natal astrology, the natal horoscopes of the time, which probably were limited to royalty and wealthy people. They're insubscribed cuneiform tablets and listed on the planetary positions along with the comments referring to wealth, potential, longevity, family, and status. The natal horoscope was seen as a predictor in the person's life. Much as today, the difference being in the 21st century, astrologers and people recognize that everyone has free will, and the Babylonians considered the chart faithful. The Babylonian, I don't know how to say that word, but y'all get what I'm saying. Knowledge was passed to the Persians, Egyptians, and Indians. It was readily adopted in India, where today is considered not only valid but necessary to a successful life. Great advances in astrology were made in Alexandria, Egypt, in the 2nd and the 3rd centuries AD, partly as a result of Ptolemy and I. Sauter, who ordered the construction of a great library that attracted scholars. During this period, the following concepts were developed in ascendant, a rising sign, and midhaven. So the ascendant and the rising sign is very important in your chart. Like the ascendant is when where the sun is the fullest. Everything above your ascendant line, or say your ascendant line is like this, but still it's going to be like this because it begins your charts. It begins your houses. So everything above the ascendant line is going to be what happens in the daytime. Everything in your descendant line, midhaven, whatever you want to call it. So I think they're the same things. Well, I don't know. We'll get more into it. But everything under that, every planet under that was during nighttime. So it was night where those planets were. It was day where these planets were. It's night where these planets are, and then in these houses. And these houses is daytime. So if you look at it, the sun and moon in that vertical chart, the things that you're going to be like, say your Pluto is above your the geographical line. I'm gonna call it the equator line. The equator line. If you got Pluto up here, transformation is going to be easy for you because you are in that sun element. If you got Pluto below, it's going to be harder for you because you are in that moon element. You're in that emotional element. You're in that transformation is going to be harder for you than it would being above the ascendant line, if that makes sense. Because if you work with the sun, you're going to get brighter things. If you work with the moon, you're going to get darker things. Yes, you have to have both to balance it out, but y'all get what I'm saying. All right, now I done forgot where I was. Let me just find where I was. Let's just move on to what your birth chart reveals. No, we're gonna go backwards. We're gonna go backwards. Okay. So let me figure out where I was. I got threw off there for a minute. Okay. Rising sign in Midhaven. Astrology houses planetary rulers, aspects, and predictive techniques. Astrology was considered a science in the spread Western Europe, where educated people knew Greek and Latin. Although astrology died out in Western Europe, the collapse of the Western Roman Empire it survived somewhat in the Eastern Roman Empire. A general revival of astrology began around 1000 AD and continued the next 500 years. Like all else, astrology benefited from the invention of printing press, which made information more readily available to the populace. Astrology was taught in colleges and universities and required a subject of medical students. Astrology is experienced another decline which began in the late 17th century and lasted about 200 years. It was still popular in England, however, because the annual astrology almanacs that had been printed since the 16th century, 19th century, and wasn't until the 1930s that the first weekly and then daily horoscopes began to appear in the newspapers. The first such column appeared in the London Sunday Express. The 20th century saw the refinement in astrology technique and emphasis on psychological astrology versus event oriented astrology, but the basic remains the same today as those developed in the earliest astrologers. And there is growing interest in older astrological literature as more of these works are translated and find available. Why study astrology? So why should you study astrology? Why should you study astrology? I'm just looking. I should have had this shit more planned out than what I had it planned out. Anybody don't want to know why they should study? Look at my hair. I look pitiful today. I don't even care. Before you walk out my life. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the language of astrology. Like, I don't want to read all this, even though it is a chapter. Like, I don't want to get into all that. We're going to go ahead and move into the language of astrology. Like any other field of study, astrology has its own language. With a little practice, you can learn the language fairly quickly and begin to interpret your chart and those of your friends and relatives. A natal chart has four essential components, the same ones astrologers have used for centuries. They are 12 signs of the zodiac, 10 planets, 12 houses, and aspects. I'll explain these four elements in detailed subsequent, and I can't say that word, chapters in the book. My goal is here is to give you the basic review overview so you can begin to understand the components of a birth chart. Signs. There are 12 signs in the zodiac. You got Aries through Pisces, which are also the names of the constellations. Each sign is 30 degrees of a perfect 360 circle. Each single degree is of the 30 degrees, and a sign is further divided into 60 minutes, which are each again divided into 60 seconds. Most astrologers only use degrees and minutes. Each sign is represented by a glyph. Once you learn these glyphs, you can use them instead of writing out the full name of the sign. Refer to the inside back cover of the book for a list of astrological glyphs. So we're going to learn the zodiac glyphs. That's what we're going to do right this second. If you're looking like class and you're looking like trash, can't get with a deadbeat ass. So we're gonna learn the okay. What's up, peoples? I don't know why y'all laughing. So if you don't know the zodiac sign glyphs, we're gonna learn them. So we got Aries. Aries is gonna look like this. We got Taurus. It's gonna look like a little circle like that. So I'm gonna give you time to write it down. If y'all want time to write it down, let me know. So that's what Aries and Taurus looks like. We got Gemini. I should have got freaking. I need to go to the fucking store, dude. So we got Gemini. It looks like this. I need to go to the store. We might pause and resume whenever I get back. Cancer kind of looks like the 69. Y'all, my drawings are not going to be perfect. Leo looks like this. Virgo. I need to go to the store. I need to go to the store. Like, point blank. Before we start this, I need to go to the store. So I'm going to run to the store, you guys, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get more structured. I may even get me like a, what's some boards called? Magic eraser board. If anybody wants to donate to my supplies, it'd be perfect because apparently my guides are like very drawn to teach myself astrology. And apparently I gotta teach y'all astrology as well. What's this? Oh shit. Back from my smoking weed days. Yeah, dry erase board. So if anybody wants to donate to my supplies to teach, you guys know my Cash App, you know my PayPal. I do got to go get some supplies before I can actually start teaching. But my guys were like, you need to start teaching astrology. Like, get your fucking book out, learn that shit, because you're never going to learn it if you don't teach it. So we are going to start. I am going to start teaching astrology. That's going to happen. It's going to happen, baby. It's going to happen. But I do have to go to the store. So if anybody wants to send me a donation to buy supplies, that would be perfectly great. Because I need index cards apparently. I got plenty of pens and pencils. I need a dry erase board. I got plenty of notebooks, so I'm good there. Maybe a pointer. I don't know if we're gonna get a pointer, but y'all see my fat hanging out today. So if anybody wants to send a donation towards getting my supplies to teach y'all astrology, because I have to get a dry erase board, like I have to. It's going to be a lot easier to teach you guys. And also, I'm reading the Four Agreements. I am reading it on TikTok. I'm going live. We made it to the third chapter today, and we stopped because I had to do some energetic clearing. So we are reading the Four Agreements on TikTok as well. If anybody would like to be part of that, very informational. If you guys don't got this book, if you ain't read this book, this is like bomb ass book right here. Like it teaches you how to break the agreements that's been embedded and programmed into your life since you were born. So it teaches you how to forgive and let go and sign a new contract, sign a new spiritual agreement. It's actually the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna go to the store. I'll be looking fly whenever I come back. Get my hair all did. I told you I got black people hair. Look at this shit. I need to get me some. I don't know what I need to get for this shit. But anyways, listen. We're gonna go to the store. We're going to get supplies, and I'll be back, you guys. Don't forget, if you want to put in on the supplies, don't be scared to send me a donation. But peace out, you guys.